The story of Anne Frank begins with an ordinary little girl, someone you might sit next to in class. She had large, expressive eyes and dark, curly hair. She was lively and popular, always surrounded by her friends. Anne was born in Frankfurt on June 12, 1929. From the start, she had plenty to say for herself. She screamed a lot. When little Margot, her sister, peeped into the cradle, she couldn't help laughing. Anne Frank was a German Jew. Anne's father had a job. Her family was lucky that they had money. For many people in Germany then, life was a bitter struggle. Germany was blamed for starting the First World War and had to pay huge amounts to make up for all the destruction. Germany was desperately poor. Too many people were out of work, money they didn't have enough, and everyone knew how rich and powerful Germany used to be, so the Germans felt more and more angry and disgraced. They wanted someone to blame, and that was when things began to change in ways that were frightening for the Jews. There was a man called Hitler. He talked a lot. Huge crowds gathered around him. He promised to make Germany rich again. Hitler hated Jews. He spread many lies about them, blaming them for taking all of the jobs and the money. Many people began to agree with Hitler and his Nazi party. At school, children began to notice who was Jewish and bullied them. People stopped talking to their Jewish neighbors, and Jews' shops had their windows shattered. At first, the Jews were bewildered by all this hatred. Soon, they were just scared, and many planned to leave Germany altogether. Mr. Frank was worried about his family. He found work in the Netherlands and an apartment for them all in Amsterdam that wasn't expensive. Everything was wonderful until Hitler's mighty army spread to Amsterdam. But it was too late to escape another country. Things would only get worse. One summer day in 1942, a letter came ordering Margot, Anne's sister, to leave her home and report for labor service. This meant working for the Germans. Probably her family would never see her again. They had to disappear fast. Anne and Margot were told to pack any treasures they couldn't bear to leave behind. Anne stuffed her most precious bits and pieces into her satchel. First of all, her diary she'd been given on her last birthday. She squashed everything in with clumsy, trembling hands. Now they would have to keep themselves hidden away, hiding in a secret building that was occasionally occupied. They had to stay as quiet as mice. Another family eventually moved into the secret spot, making the area even smaller and more unbearable. Anne was the youngest, and she just wanted someone to talk to. So she turned to her diary and wrote down her most private thoughts. Life went on in this small hidden room, and Anne grew older. Eventually, on August 4th, 1944, their hiding spot was raided, and they were all taken away. The family was separated from one another and sent to a camp. The only family member to survive the camp was Anne's father. He returned to Amsterdam and found Anne's diary. Her diary was published in 1947 under the name The Secret Annex. Later, it was renamed Anne Frank, Diary of a Young Girl. It became a popular book and has been read throughout the world.